Yeah, sounds good. And hello, everyone. My name is Luke Zhang. First of all, I apologize not being able to own my MacBook today. My MacBook is acting a little bit weird, but that's a fun thing about being a data scientist. You get to solve different problems every day. You run into different things every day. So my talk's title is "We are all data scientists." And Joni, you can hit the next slide.
Okay.
Yep. So a little bit background about me. I was originally born and raised in China, and I came to the United States around 14, 15 years ago. I went to a high school in Florida, and then I finished my undergrad degree at Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute. And then after my undergrad, I started working full time for a startup called Demand Job. I did a lot of data science for digital marketing. So I was there from 2017 to 2020, and I also started my master degree in 2019. And during the peak of pandemic at 2020, I went back to the company that I interned with as my first job, Resultant. So I've been working as a senior data scientist at Resultant, mainly leading the COVID response team for Governor Holcomb for the past 2 years. But now I lead a rapid prototype team at Resultant. Next slide. And Joni, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. I still hear some noise from your end.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so obviously data science, data scientists, we have to talk about data. So the data we're processing or dealing with, it's big. It's very big where you can kind of, I'm not going to bug you with all this. Sorry, Joni was still here from your end. Can you mute? All right, perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. Um, so how big is the data? Well, it's very big. I'm not going to bug you with all the definitions. You can kind of read through on the slide what's the formal definition of big data is. Next slide. As you can see, I like to use memes throughout my presentation, so stay tuned. It will be really interesting and fun. After reading the definition, you probably have the question, well, tell me again, how big is the data? Well, let me show you. So everybody nowadays has a smartphone or use your laptop or your smart TVs or your Xbox controller, Xbox or PS4 at some capacity. So let's look at what happens in a minute on the internet. So this is the data for 2020. In 2020, that's what happens every 60 seconds. That's how many iMessages get sent, how many Snapchat are going through, how many TikToks are happening. So you can see that we have a lot of data, right? So let's look at the next slide to see what happens in 2021. And not a surprise, the amount of data we generate are actually even more compared to 2020. So because there are more users, everybody's more connected. And you can see there's more iMessages being sent out every 60 seconds. There are more Snapchat, there are more TikToks, more Instagram posts, more of everything. Even though it's the same 60 seconds, but 2020 versus 2021, we can see a dramatic increase from 2020 to 2021. And then obviously we don't have the data for 2022 yet, but smart kids like you guys can probably figure it out. Okay, maybe the trend is keep going upwards, where if we do see the data from 2022, the numbers will keep increasing. Next slide. All right, so just go back from a macro to a micro perspective. You can see that big data is everywhere because we have a lot of internet of device of where at your house you have Alexa or you have Google Homes. Those are smart devices at your home, and then you can see the trend. Like I said, the internet gets bigger. There are more access to the internet, and we're generating more data. Next slide. So data is everywhere, right? So when we have this amount of data, what do we do with it? Next slide. And some of you guys might be questioning, okay, there's a lot of data, but why do I care, right? I'm a teenager, I'm in high school, I use, I use Snapchat, I use TikTok, I'm generating all those data, but why do I care about those data, right? I'm not even considering a tech savvy person. Why do I care? But we should care. And next slide. This is a graph that I like to show a lot of students and other industry professionals because it shows in every industry data is very important. Whether you're agriculture, whether you're in tech, whether you're in banking industry, the more data informs you, more information about your clients or about yourself. And that piece of knowledge, that piece of information can help you not only do your jobs better, but also predict what's going to change in the future so you're more prepared. Next slides, please. All right, so let's talk about data science, right? I've talked a lot about big data. Data is everywhere. Where does data science sit? So you can think of data science is in the middle of this like Venn diagram where you have computer science, IT, or programmer, and then you have your math, statistics, the math people, and then one thing that people always kind of forget is this domain and business knowledge because data science actually helps with all the business decisions and help business to do much better to make better decisions. So data science sits in the perfectly the middle of the three area of computer science, math, and business domain business knowledge. Next slide. All right, so you probably asked me, okay, data science seems so important and interact with three different, circles. What is data science? What does a data science process look like? Well, in a formal definition, a data science process involves with first you collect data, right? Without data, you can't do anything, right? There's no science behind it. First, you have to collect data, then you have to clean data, organize data in a way where we can identify patterns. And then once you have all the clean data, you have to figure out, okay, what is this data telling me about? What information can I extract out of this, gigantic data set? And then you talk to the domain experts and figure out what's their business goal. What do they need out of this data set? What can they do with this piece of information, with this kind of pattern? And then you start building models or analysis or reporting to figure it out. Okay, are we collecting the right data? Are we predicting the right price? Are we projecting and forecasting the right revenue? And that iteration goes back to, okay, you're going to talk to the expert. You might have to clean up your data more. So it's a full cycle that continues, loop through multiple times. It's not like, well, I solved this problem and I'm done. I got the 100%. No, because real life problems are super complex and it's always requires a lot of iterations to go through. So that's a formal definition. Next slides. And in your head, you're probably thinking about this. Wow, that sounds so cool. It sounds so complicated. I'm not cut for it. It's so much mental math. It's so many buzzwords, right? It seems just way over my head. It's way over my line. I'm not cut to be a data scientist. It's cool to learn, but I'm not cut for it. Is that really true though? Next slide. And you're probably thinking, this is what the data scientists look like. A gigantic nerd wearing glasses, sitting behind a computer, and then punching out some numbers. Um, But that's not all of it. Obviously, you guys see me through the screen. I'm not wearing glasses. I'm actually talking to you guys in my car right now, and and I can prove to you that everybody is a data scientist, right? And I will show you real life examples to prove my point. Why you should all consider to be a data scientist. Everybody is essentially a data scientist in real life. Next slide. All right, so this is a meme I love, and I think you guys will kind of laugh. This is what my friends think I do, what my parents think I do as a data scientist, what I actually do as a data scientist. And I find it personally find it really interesting where people's perception of a occupation, regardless whether it's a doctor, lawyer, or data scientist, is so different from what those occupation actually doing. And next slide. All right, so, you guys are not on camera, so I cannot tell how many of you guys have participated in the Halloween trick and treat. So let me show you why even little kids are a data scientist, right? So we just had Halloween, and hopefully you guys got a lot of candies or had a lot of fun hanging out with friends, uh, crave out the pumpkins. So as a little kid, um, first thing first, when Halloween is coming, kids have to think about what kind of outfit you have to wear, right? And let's say you this year the superheroes is trending, so you have that piece of information. That's your data set. That's your data point. And then you're like, okay, some of my friends are have already picked out their outfit. They're Superman, they're Spider-Man, they're Wonder Woman, they are Captain American. So those, and I don't want to dress the same as my friend. So those are extra information, additional data point for you to consider how you can alter and change your outfit selections. So given all those data, now you start formalizing your decision and thinking, okay, well, they are wearing those, superheroes outfit. I want to do something different because I want to be unique. What are my options? Oh, wait a minute. Nobody is wearing Hawk costume yet. So let me go online and let me go to the store and see how much a Hawk outfit, costs and whether it looks good on me or not. So that process essentially is a data science process. Why? Because first you gather information, you gather data, about what's trendy, what's the fashion, what's this year's outfit options are. Second, you collect more data around your friends who you're gonna hang out with and trying to avoid so you don't, seem cluster and everybody's wearing the same, outfit. And then in your head, automatically you're building a model using all those data points to inform your decision to say, okay, I want to do something different, and that's ultimately my choice. So that's the very first example of why we are all data scientists, right? And you don't even notice it. It's decision making, gathering information to help with your decision. Second example in the Halloween trick and treat scenario is uh, when you're going to a someone's house, trick and treat, trying to get candies, you have a bucket, right? And that bucket, it can be really heavy towards the end of the night. So in back of your head, you favor certain type of candies, whether it's chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate, or some candies. And so it's in your best interest to go up to the household, not just grab a handful of candy, but pick your favorite candies. So towards the end of the night, you're not bogged down by all the candies you don't like, and you only get the candies you want. So that process is also a data science process. Why? Because you first gather information of, okay, what's your favorite candy? And then you also have this constraints, this business rule, this real life, scenario where you don't want to carry so many candies, and you definitely don't want to carry so many, uh, candies that you don't like, right? So given the constraints and the data point, you're making a decision, a conscious decision to pick out only the candy you want, and so that you enjoy your favorite candy. So those are two examples that it informs you that we are all data scientists. Next slide. All right, enough about Halloween's candies and everything. Let's look at the tools, right? The media, the social media app, the things that we are using as as you guys, as teenagers. And you can see that I've listed the information for Snapchat, for TikTok, for Instagram, for Twitter, for Facebook. And as you are aware, that it seems like by giving this information, we know that more teenagers are using Snapchat, or more they are using more TikToks. They're using less Twitter, using less Facebook. Giving you this information, what does that inform you? What does that help you? Well, as a data scientist, you will know, or as a regular person, you will realize, okay, seems like all my friends are no longer on Facebook, no longer on Twitter. They're all on Snapchat, on TikTok. So it's in my best interest, if I want to connect to my friends, switch from Facebook, Twitter to TikTok, to Instagram, to Snapchat, because that's where my friends are. And that process essentially is a data science process. Why? Because you're given a piece of data, right? This data about the teenager usage of social media apps, and then you're forming a decision to better help yourself to connect to your friends. Again, you are a data scientist, and this process helps you um, to realize, okay, maybe data science is not something mighty Aldi out there that I cannot do. It's a regular decision making process that everybody's doing essentially every day. Next slide. Okay, this is a cool graph that I want to demonstrate a little bit more than just those high level example of what data scientists do. This is an example of combining the power of programming, um, business expertise, domain knowledge, and also your math and statistics. As a data scientist, we have the capability of fulfilling some certain task. For example, this is a real live example where one of my clients, they're a art organization, and they want us to produce something really cool. Of very cool art for them. And as a data scientist, I like circles, I like math, so I figured out an algorithm in mathematics which can draw a circle with different colors, and then I rely on my programming skills to implement that algorithm, and then towards the end, it comes out with a perfect, really cool art that I created for my client. Next slide. Again, going back to when you first had the preset idea or image of what the data scientists do, mental math, crazy stuff. Did any of my example involve this type of crazy math or scary logic? Not really, right? It's a daily life that we make decisions all the time. So going back to my point that everybody is a data scientist. Next slide. So I've talked a lot about data science, data scientists. I want to leave you guys with a lot of resources. A great thing for teenagers and for everybody in this day and age is there are tons of resources online. I would highly recommend you guys to learn how to program in Python. It's human readable. It's super easy to understand. There are tons of resources online that you can learn. And then Coursera is a great website that you can register for free and listen from the best professors around the world. And obviously YouTube, right? Everybody watches YouTube, and there are just tons of resources out there that you can learn those basics to prepare you to be a data scientist. Next slide. Also, I mentioned a lot of online resources. We do have a lot of local resources where obviously I'm very honored to speak at the Next Tech Navigate 2022. I think this is my second or third year speaking. I think third year or second year, I forgot. I love Next Tech, so definitely huge credits and huge prop to Next Tech. Apply for the summer catapult program. That's one of my favorite programs. You get to learn programming, you get to tour around the city, have so much fun. Joe is my favorite, and she leads the catapult program. I also want to plug in with a few other organizations in town, right? Tech Point Youth Foundation, Kenzie Academy, uh, 1150, Junior Achievement. There's so many organizations in town right here focused on STEM education, focused on programming. I definitely recommend you guys to check it out as well. Next slide. Uh, so going back to my presentation title, I hope through my short presentation of 15-20 minutes, you've learned that data science is cool first. Second, data science is everywhere. We're doing that every day, which makes you a data scientist. Everybody is a data scientist. Next slide. And I will close my presentation with my contact info. I have my LinkedIn link here. You can connect me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, think of it more as a professional Facebook. That's all the professionals do. I constantly update my LinkedIn and I post a lot on LinkedIn. So definitely follow my LinkedIn and then connect with me. And then I also have my email down here. So if you have any questions, you want to learn more about data science or tech in general or STEM, please feel free to reach out. And now I will open up to the floor. If you have any questions, send it to the chat, and then I will try to answer them with my knowledge. And Joni, I might need your help to read that chat or questions. And you're also muted.
Okay. Also, we had Melissa who asked how many students apply for the Catapult program, and we have about 50 to 75. This year we had a group in Indianapolis and in Evansville. So between the two, we had 24 in each. So then JJ wants to know why you're in your car.
Huh. Great question. So, I was gonna take this meeting at my office with my usual setup, but I got pulled into a meeting at right at noon with a very important clients from the state. So in order to shorten that traveling time, I don't want to be late for the client meeting. Big license for everybody is don't be late for your meetings. It doesn't matter how important you are, um, how mighty, how capable you are. I never like to be late for my meetings. First impression really matters. So that's why I'm in my car. And great thing about working in tech and also being a data scientist is as long as I have my MacBook, as long as I have my phone, I can work almost anywhere. So that's why I'm in my car.
Okay. And then JJ also wants to know what's the average income of a data scientist?
Oh, great question. So, data scientist is definitely a very, very hot occupation right now. So the average starting salary in Indiana, it's around $95,000 a year. If you go to West Coast and East Coast, the number pushes like 120K a year. And then that's a junior data scientist, right, fresh out of college. When you get to the senior level or director level, it's more tied up with your incentives and obviously a lot of the since you're helping the company to make very, very important business decisions, those incentives can be a little crazy out there. So it's a good field to be in.
Okay. Oh, I just want to let Melissa know that We have we have 24 catapults per city. So this year I had Indianapolis and Evansville, and we're always, and what we'll do is we'll let your teacher knows when the application process opens, and it opens in like late February, early March. So anyway, just a quick one. What kind of questions do we have else for Luke about data science?
And feel free to ask them. I'm an open book, so I would, answer any questions.
Can you think of one project that you've worked on as a data science that surprised you the most? Like when you got the data back, it was something completely, it was much more different than you thought it was going to be.
Uh, the COVID project. So
Ah.
I led the COVID response team for Governor Holcomb for the past 2 years, and obviously it was a pandemic, and with limited information around around COVID and around how people are going to react to different policies we're going to push out. So that data, I mean, even today still surprises me how um, even with science, when you try to um, inform the public what's the best practice, what's the best thing to do, because everybody, it's a free country and a lot of people have their own opinions. Sometimes they don't follow the recommendation we recommend, and it's our job to be flexible, to alter to whatever curveballs people throw at you, right? So that's very surprising.
And then JJ just asked, what are you currently working on?
Yes, so I lead the rapid prototype team at my company now, which focus on building up proof of concept. So normally a consulting cycle is 6 months to a year, where you talk to clients and figure out what they want, what their problem, and then you assemble a team and build it, and then go through some iteration. It's a long process, and I'm a action-driven person that I don't like to slow down. So I came up with this new idea of prototype, where think of it as a free consulting and consulting on steroids, where we do project every 6 weeks. So by the time when we start talking to clients, clock is on. In 6 weeks, I'm gonna help them to build a dashboard, build a website, build an app, build analysis, something they can feel, they can touch, they can modify, and that's how my team works.
And then Bo just said it sounds like you're usually pretty busy constantly with it then.
Yes, yes, that's the one thing I enjoy my career, and I enjoy um, being in Indianapolis and Indiana is if you truly want to make an impact, you can through work, through your community engagement, through different kinds of things. Um, yeah, so I am really busy. At any given moment, but I try to really balance it out where I'm outgoing, I'm an extrovert, but sometimes I will I will say no to my friends in terms of like hanging out or some events that I really need to focus on whatever task I'm doing.
All right, we are in the last few minutes that we have with Luke. Is what kind of questions? Is there any last questions for Luke? Oh, okay. JJ wants to know, what is the toughest thing you've ever worked on, and how long did your longest project take? What's the easiest thing you've ever done? Ooh, that's a good one, JJ. What's the easiest thing you've ever done?
Yeah, so I will start out with the easiest thing. First of all, there's no easiest thing. Um, I would have phrased it as the project that takes the least amount of time. Okay, so for that that graph that I show you, that circle, right, that art piece is probably the not the least time consuming project I did, and you can find that example online too. There are a lot of people doing similar stuff, so that's why that was like least time consuming because I have a lot of data points, I have a lot of help online. The most difficult part is I want to say, oh, I've done a lot of different, very difficult project. I want to say, oh, this is tough. I think COVID might be the most difficult one because we are constantly, everything's on fire. We're playing a firefighter mode. And I contribute a lot in the simulation part where I help, I build a model giving the case numbers we have or number we have or death number we have and a lot of different data to predict how many more cases we're going to have tomorrow or day after, next week, next month, and how many deaths, how many hospitalization we'll have. And because given the unknown, so many unknowns for that project, it's very difficult to predict. And it makes it very interesting. So, and it becomes really difficult.
And then the other one, his other question is, how long did your longest project take?
So the COVID project took 2 years and it's still
Okay.
ongoing.
Okay. Are you as active with it as you were from the beginning, or?
Not really, because COVID has really died out a little bit,
Okay.
and people have been getting vaccinated or more cautious about it. So I was really involved starting out the pandemic March 2020 and then all the way leading up to December 2021. So
Okay.
this past December, I told the governor, I told my team, I would like to try this new prototype idea, leading my own team doing that. But they can still call me whenever for help in terms of COVID. So I still attend a decent amount of COVID meetings, but that frequency has really died out. And
Okay.
funny enough, I when monkeypox first came out, I actually was summit to the state house and talking to the governor about monkeypox and how we can better prepare to deal with that.